Can I say the two things that I think?
Yes.
One is the RTI for sure, bringing in the RTIs for sure. And secondly is asking the Justice Verma committee to come up with what they did.
So, because of the composition of this audience, I'll say something we do not think of as an achievement of this government, particularly this group doesn't, but I think it may turn out to be. I actually think the land acquisition bill will turn out to be pretty good. You know, and all the fears of it are hugely exaggerated. I actually do think Manmohan Singh's framework on Pakistan was the right one. It's a pity his party didn't back him on it, but it would have been a game changer.
Well, I think the second one, yes. I mean, land acquisition bill, I'm in the middle. I'm not somebody who instinctively jumps to say this is something wrong, because the moment businessmen say this will cost us too much to acquire land, I said, wow, that's a good idea. Because I think, you know, they've got land too cheap. For too long, businessmen of India have not added the cost of land to their business plans. They think land comes free. And that's why I get really fed up when I find Modi supporters among India's businessmen, which is almost all of India's businessmen, barring one or two. They say, but this government, everybody should go to jail because they've been given spectrum, they've been giving coal mines, they've been given iron ore mines on a preferential basis or on a discretionary basis. So I asked them, how is it then all right for Modi to give you land on a preferential basis? Tatas can go with a car plant and get land in Gujarat. That's also discretionary. So if you auction coal and iron and spectrum, you must auction land as well. Then everybody looks at you like, oh, you must be, oh, you got a Padma Award, right? So obviously you talk like this. But the fact is that too many people have been deprived of land too cheaply. And it's not just the private sector. In fact, the biggest culprit in this country of stealing people's land is the public sector. Because every public sector undertaking in India is a township, right? You see any power plant of NTPC, it has a colony for its staff, it has a bunch of schools, it has a hospital, it has a club, it has playgrounds, all of which is, you know, if you calculate land consumed per megawatt for a PSU, it will be about 10 times of the land consumed per megawatt for the private sector. So if everybody starts paying the right price, people will also use this land more economically. And Punjab has done a very good job of it. You know, Punjab started paying 2 crores, 2.5 crores, 3 crores per acre of land. And people would sell their land and book a Mercedes and buy a flat and take the rest of the money and go to Madhya Pradesh and buy 50 acres for an acre. So in fact, that's one of the contributory factors to Madhya Pradesh's agricultural growth. So, I'm waiting for this to, I'm open-minded. But two things. One, Pakistan. In the first term, the government got it right. In the second term, the Congress party, I don't think the Congress party got cold feet. The Congress party just got fed up of a prime minister becoming too popular, right? So they began to undermine him, starting with UPA 2. So the best thing that this government could have done, they have not been able to do. But there are other good things they have done. Kirit Parekh is here. The reform on fuel prices. People don't realize what a big reform this is. For petrol to become market linked, for LPG to get limited, and for diesel now to go up sort of homeopathically every month. We forget that Mr. Vajpayee carried out 22 increases of kerosene price, from 2 rupees to I think 8 rupees or 10 rupees. I think that's a major thing. The second thing this government has done, which I think is something that's happened willy-nilly, is that under a Congress government, you've seen the power of the states go up. This government could have been much more difficult in that area because we know what their basic instincts are and we know how the Congress party thinks. I'm surprised. Maybe they just missed out on this one. You know, they're still holding a lot of state legislations, laws in states not ruled by them. Either governors are holding them or the president is holding them. But within that, I think they've given the states a lot more freedom and power than you would have imagined a Congress-led government to do, because the instinct of the Congress is to centralize.